Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Clock Tower Destiny Hero Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for December 2023. Wanted to update this version of the Destiny Hero deck that focuses on using Clock Tower Prison along with all of the other Clock Tower related cards that Aster Phoenix used, including his boss monster here, Destiny Hero Dreadmaster, for more of its setup for all of your other Destiny Hero cards. This is more of just a fun take on the Destiny Hero deck, using all the newer cards we got for Destiny Heroes, including the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer and all the other new spells we've had for the lineup up till now as well, using them with the Clock Tower cards. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For our boss monster, we'll run the 1 copy of Destiny Hero Dreadmaster. I honestly thought of increasing this to a 2-of count. If you were to do so, you can take out one of the 1-ofs for the Destiny Hero monsters that I run. If this card is special summoned by Clock Tower Prison, which is our go-to field spell in the deck as well, you can destroy all monsters you control except for Destiny Hero monsters. Also, after that, you can special summon up to 2 Destiny Hero monsters from your graveyard. After this card is special summoned for the rest of this turn, Destiny Hero monsters you control cannot be destroyed. Also, you take no battle damage when they battle. The attack and defense of this card are equal to the combined original attack of all other Destiny Hero monsters you control. So that's where that special summon power comes in the form of Dreadmaster being able to set up its attack for the attack of all the other Destiny Hero monsters that you may control on the field, depending on which ones you also summon back onto the field. You really only run the majority of Destiny Hero monsters in the main deck and extra deck in this deck, so you really don't have much of a risk for what you may destroy with Dreadmaster. As I said, if you wanted to run a second copy of this card, you can always just take out another copy when we go over the 1-ofs for the other Destiny Hero monsters for another copy of this card. Now, the Clock Tower Prison setup is also important, so we're running 3 copies of Destiny Hero Dread Servant. If this card is normal summoned, place 1 clock counter on each Clock Tower Prison. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 spell or trap card you control and destroy that target. So even if you crash Dread Servant into one of your opponent's monsters, you can use it to destroy your Clock Tower Prison, which will then summon out your Dreadmaster, which we'll go over when we get to the spells. It has to be normal summoned though, so you can't make use of cards like Drill Dark or your Dreadmaster or any other special summon effect to make use of Dread Servant. It's just more or less another level 3 or lower monster to summon back off of Dreadmaster if you wish, just for more materials to use on the field as well. But it's more just the Clock Tower counter setup because you don't want to wait each individual turn for your Clock Tower Prison to be able to build up the counters needed for it. For some of the lower numbers for the Destiny Hero monsters, 2 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. It's just a good setup for the Banish special summon of this card. And we have some other cards to help recycle it back into the deck to reuse as well, like Destiny Hero Denier. The 2 copies of Destiny Hero Celestial. You do have some draw power with this one when it's set up in the graveyard, and also being able to destroy face-up cards on the field. So when it declares an attack, you can target a face-up spell your opponent controls and destroy it and inflict 500 damage to your opponent, taking out some of those pesky cards. But it's mostly in here, as I said, for the banish of another Destiny Hero when you control no other cards in your hand to be able to draw 2 cards. And also 2 copies of Destiny Hero Drill Dark for the piercing battle damage, but a special summon of a Destiny Hero monster with lesser attack. So you can even summon out cards like Malicious from your hand using Drill Dark, giving you the 2 resources on the field needed to then be able to summon out some of your Link monsters, even like Extra Hero Cross Crusader. And then I also run the 1 Destiny Hero Plasma and the 1 Destiny Hero Dogma for the 2 boss monsters to go into some other cards in the X deck as well. As I said, I still like to run some of the more generic lineups in the deck, including these cards, to be able to use cards like Destiny and Dragoon for those summons, with the 1-ofs for our Destiny Hero monsters being the 1 Dasher for special summon plays. It can also be sent off of Fusion Destiny to then summon out our Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, the 1 Destiny Hero Draw Hand. If it's special summoned by the effect of a hero monster, you can make each player draw 1 card. So then with this card, you can have the target of this card also be used for Dreadmaster to give you a card in the field to then draw additional cards as well. And then the 1 Denier for the recycle power of our banished cards. The 1 Destiny Hero Decider for adding back some other cards as well. Great way to add back cards like Dread Servant to then normal summon out again to gain the additional counters. And for the non-Destiny Hero monsters, the 3 copies of Vision Hero Vion for or more of the graveyard setup for our other Destiny Hero monsters, and then being able to banish one of them to search out our polymerization. And also the 1 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist for more special summon power with this card, but also utilizing the mass change play lineup as well with this one also. And that is it for the main deck monsters. Moving on now to the spells. I run 3 copies of Clock Tower Prison once per turn during your opponent's standby phase. Place 1 clock counter on this card. While there are 4 more clock counters on this card, you do not take any battle damage. If this card with 4 or more of the clock counters is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 Destiny Hero Dreadmaster from your hand or deck. So that is the special summon power of our boss monster, which if you wanted to run a second copy, you could either take out the Decider or the draw hand. It's preference there if you wanted to remove one of them for a second copy of Dreadmaster, but you have the battle protection, so even if you destroy Clock Tower Prison getting out your Dreadmaster and you want to set up another one, if you can set up more of those counters using cards either like our Dread Servant or one of the other cards we run in the lineup, which I'll get to in just a bit, then you have the extra added protection thanks to this field spell. And it's also one that your opponent will want to avoid destroying, because then if this card is destroyed, then you'll have the special summon of Dreadmaster onto the field also. I also run the 3 copies of Destiny Draw for just more draw power. It's not a once per turn, so you're just being able to go into your needed Destiny Hero cards while also setting up some other ones in the graveyard. And also the 3 copies of Fusion Destiny to set up more, but also give you a fusion play. Our best target, I would say, would be the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, because then we have the destruction power of this card and the special summon power back as well, depending on what we set up in the graveyard for it. And then for some of the one-ofs, the 1 copy of Over Destiny, being able to special summon just by targeting a Destiny Hero monster, a monster whose level is less than or equal to half that target's level. So with the bigger level ones we may have, we get special summon targets for those monsters equal to half or less of that card. The 1 Call by the Grave, along with the 1 Monster Reborn, the 1 Foolish Burial, the 1 Reinforcements of the Army, and then also the 1 copy of Mass Change for all of the one-of spells that we run in the deck, and also the 2 copies of Polymerization. I know that we can search it off of Ion, but having a second copy just opens up more and more fusion plays for us as well if we don't have the Fusion Destiny, with the only trap that we run in the deck being the setup needed for our clock counters, and that is the 3 copies of Eternal Dread, just placing 2 clock counters on each Clock Tower Prison. So then with this card, our opponent's standby phase, and then potentially being able just to normal summon out our Dread Servant the following turn will give us the 4 counters needed for our Clock Tower to then be set up on the field. Then you can have the Dread Servant crash into one of your opponent's monsters, destroying it, setting up the Dreadmaster and the additional Destiny Hero monsters you may want on the field also. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the X deck. I run the 2 copies of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. There's always a chance that your opponent could banish this card from the graveyard, so you want to have that additional second resource to be able to go into, just needing a level 6 or higher hero monster and 1 Destiny Hero monster, so very easy to make with Fusion Destiny. Being able to set up Dasher and Celestial in your graveyard can then also give you special summon power and draw power for all of your Destiny heroes. The 1 copy of Destiny and Dragoon, the 1 Dystopia, the 1 Dustopia, along with 1 Destiny Hero Dangerous and the 1 Destiny Hero Dominance for all the one-of fusions that we could potentially go into, depending on the one we might need. And for the non-Destiny Hero fusions, 1 Trinity and 1 Adoration. For more fusion plays with Polymerization, with our Mask Hero targets being the 1 Mask Hero Anki and the Dark Law for the Banish and Attack Directly power. And then our Link monsters being the 2 Cross Crusader for its special summon and search play, the Wonder Driver, and the Dread Decimator for some added hero boost power that these cards can provide as well. I wanted to go for a pure hero lineup in the X deck as well, since we were sticking to more of a fun build to do in general with the Clock Tower setup. But as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I mentioned before, we run the 3 Clock Tower Prisons, so we have a better chance of opening up this spell since it's our main go-to search and setup. If we have the Eternal Dread as well, just to then set, we can go for the next standby phase, having the 1 counter set by our opponent, setting 2 with the Eternal Dread, and then during the following turn, if we normal summon out the Dread Servant, that'll place the final counter needed on the Clock Tower Prison. I normally just like to turn the field spell, because then after you have gone the full circle, then you have all 4 of the counters ready to go. Then you can swing with your Dread Servant into your opponent's card. If you go with the Fusion Destiny play the turn before and set up some of the particular Destiny Hero monsters in the graveyard, depending on what you may send from the graveyard as well, you can then use the power of your Clock Tower Prison after destroying it with your Dread Servant to then summon out your Dreadmaster onto the field. When it's special summon, destroy all monsters you control except Destiny Hero monsters. Then special summon 2 Destiny Hero monsters from your graveyard, so then you can summon back some of the resources you may have sent off of cards like Fusion Destiny. And then you can use those additional monsters to use cards like Drill Dark to summon out another Destiny Hero card from your hand. And then all of their attack will stack on top of Dreadmaster to then be able to hit for some bigger numbers, potentially ones that obviously the Dread Servant couldn't hit over since it has a lower attack. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, just like updating some of the other lesser known decks for some of the archetypes out there. And the Clock Tower one is definitely more of a fun build if you're a fan of Destiny Heroes to give a try. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.